Ew, ew. Big fish ish, man. Y'all know what it is. We're back. We got a political talk for y'all today. We got a cool political talk for y'all today. As you can see by looking at the bottom of the screen, we're going to talk about what exactly America needs in a president. First and foremost, let me get the tea right. Yo, make sure y'all drinking y'all tea. Coffee is amazing as well, but the tea serves its purposes. Check out the little teacup my mom gave me. Cause yeah, oh yeah, and if you're a real tea drinker, then you got to drink the free not in the bag already, but you want to be able to mix and combine, like get the leaves. You want to get the leaves, grind them yourself. That way you can create a combination that best suits whatever you need at that particular time. But this is not a tea commercial, although we do have tea coming soon. But let me pour this, and then we're gonna get into the topic. Ah, what does America need in a president? All right, so I'm very big on writing stuff down, as y'all can see. I write down everything, thoughts that come to mind, whether I'm texting them to myself or actually writing them down physically. That's what I prefer in a notebook for a bunch of different reasons. For a bunch of different reasons, I just feel like for me, whatever I'm writing down, it's easier for me to conceptualize, understand, problem solve, and also manifest. So that's why I choose to write stuff down. But do whatever works best for you. But what we're going to talk about today, with Trump obviously being Trump, with DeSantis recently coming out and letting us know that he's putting in his bid for the president of the United States for 2024. We have Vivek, um, Tim Scott, obviously Biden, and I've heard a whole bunch of other names. And not to say that they don't have a chance. One of the Kennedys. However, I just may not, be as informed about you, but I guarantee you that I will. Why? Because you are my competitors, but you're also my team. But first and foremost, we got to beat you. So therefore, you're my competitors. You're my competitors. You're our competitors because we're not just running. This is not just a Caldwell 2024 campaign. This is not, I repeat, a David Caldwell 2024 campaign. It's an OG 2024 campaign. And why I say it's OG is because, it's a team thing. It's a team thing. You see new coaches go to a new team, and the highlight may be the head coach coming over, but they're bringing a team over. They're bringing a team, coaches, staff, whoever they feel that they're aligned with, that they need as a part of their team in order to execute on whatever it is they're looking to execute on. So it's no different with this. Like, it's not just one person. Trump has his team, Biden has his team, Barack had his team, and so on and so forth. So we're just letting it be known that OG 2024, that's our team. It may, I may be the face of it because, I'm the one that's running for president. However, it's definitely a team approach. And that's not me at all running from responsibility or shying away from the position. It's actually the opposite. It's me being comfortable enough as a leader, understanding who I am, understanding where it is that I need to be in order to best not only win, obviously, the bid, but to win the election and then to serve as the president and make sure that I'm giving the American people exactly what they need in order to elevate. We're all about elevation. So some of the things that I jotted down, that I was thinking, I was like, hey, what exactly makes a good president? So I was thinking about, what makes a good president? What makes a good leader? I just jotted down a couple things in no particular order. I'm sure I'll add some things to this list, but I don't think that I'll be taking anything off of the list. So, what does America need in a president? For one, somebody who's trustworthy, and trustworthy that can go a few different directions. That's something that when we talk about politicians, it's not the first thing that comes to mind when you want to use an adjective to describe them. Trustworthy is definitely not one of them. Instead, it's actually more so the opposite. It's almost as if, oh, he's just being political, playing the political game, as if being political is an excuse to lie and manipulate you just in order to get an outcome that, trust me, it's best for you in the long run. That's not what we're looking to do. That's not what we will do. We want honest people. I want to be honest in my expectations of what I can deliver on, what the OG team can deliver on, and I want to be honest with the expectations of what the American people can expect with us being your president. So just honesty, honesty, want to manage expectations and not manage expectations to set them low so people are satisfied, but just a realistic approach to solving problems. We want to be honest and we want to hear from you. The more honest we are, hopefully the more honest you are with us as far as what you need, as far as what you want, and anything that may factor into those things that's going to help you climb that social ladder, elevate. Like we said, elevate will probably come up a lot of times in this conversation, but somebody honest and trustworthy. The next one is courageous. Um, Different than honest and trustworthy, although they may bleed into each other, may or may not, for certain individuals, but courageous. It takes a lot of courage to stand on principles, to stand on foundations, and especially when you're in control of so many different communities, so many different types of groups. You have to be courageous because you may have to tell one particular group something that they may not want to hear, but because it's for the greater good of the overall, group, that's what has to be on top of mind. Now, of course, we will not shy away from foundational principles and values, and we're going to do another show actually diving into, what exactly are the OG 2024 foundational principles and values. I've shared them with you all before, what the OG principles are and values, and to be totally honest, they're very much aligned with what our overall principles would be. And I wasn't planning on sharing that with you all, but I'll read through it. I'll read through it a little bit. I should be able to, give me a sec. Should be able to pull them up. Very short. Very short. Very short. All right. So our foundational principles: never get outworked, never be outprepared, take advantage of every opportunity, align with your purpose, never turn down smoke, compete. Never turn down smoke, compete. Do what makes sense. Our OG foundational values: I control my destiny, I can accomplish anything, and I'm here to make an impact. All right, so those are the OG life principles and values. However, our core principles when it comes to uh, this presidential run and what our presidency will consist of are very much aligned. Are very much aligned. We will make sure that we are not only putting America first, but putting all of our citizens' interest first. And you may say, how do you put all these different people's interests first? It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult, but the best thing that we can do is talk to as many communities as possible, figure out different ways that have worked in the past, figure out different ways that we think can work in the future. Work together. Work together with different groups, leadership groups. All this bickering and what has happened between the Democrats and Republicans is super childish. It's super radicalized, and to be totally honest, I believe the majority of Democrats and the majority of Republicans are turned off by it. Are turned off by it. It's just, we know that it benefits the higher powers. We know that it benefits all the big time media stations and everything else, but it doesn't benefit the people. It causes a lot of divisiveness, causes a lot of just unrest and anger. So therefore, that's something that we're going to prioritize, and that will take a lot of courage. That we are willing to stand on stuff, and I say that we're willing to stand on stuff. That's the only way we know. That's the only way we know. That's what the OG culture was built on. All right, so we talked about trustworthy and honest. We talked about courageous. The next one that I want to focus on is purpose driven. Purpose driven with foundational principles, morals, and values that align with being an honorable person. All right, so very simple. We want to be purpose driven, but purpose driven can mean positive, can mean negative. We want to make sure that our purpose is based on our principles and values, and that it's based on just overall being an honorable person. An honorable person may or may not make the best decision. You know, you may not get every single question right, may not get every situation right, but just understanding that every decision and every move will be made with honorable intent. Um, that 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 should mean a lot. That should mean a lot, and not that we're asking for grace. Like I said, we're very courageous. However, what we are expecting is a certain level of honor and integrity um, from our citizens, because that's what we will be giving you. So that's where we stand with that. The next two focus on a willingness. The first one is a willingness to be wrong. Sometimes I may be wrong. Sometimes we may be wrong. Sometimes we may have the wrong approach. And us being open to the fact that there's always a possibility that we may be wrong, or that there may be a better way to do things. Um, Us being able to remove that ego is going to play a key role in not only how we get things done and execute within our team, but also how we work with other teams. You know, other teams will also be comfortable enough to put down their ego, and there will be a certain level of buy-in. Yeah, we may bicker, you know, when we're going for the elections and everything like that. People could say what they say. However, once we're in office, all of that stuff is out the window. Our obligation is to the American people, and that's who we are going to help. And that is the mission that we have on top of mind. And to do that, we will need the help. We will need the support. We will need, and we expect, maybe the need word is not the right word, but for us to really get to where America deserves to be, I would say need, but our team is going to expect to work well with people that we may have competed with in the past, that we may continue competing with. But if the understanding is that everything that's being done is for the overall good of the people, then if we practice it, if we show through our example, we will expect that same energy to be reciprocated. And that's how it's been in the past, and that's how we see it continuing to move forward. We understand that when we give respect, we get respect back. So that's where we are on that. And then the next willingness is the willingness to work with other groups, as I just mentioned, other groups, communities, leaders, to get the best solutions. We're not always going to have the 100% formulated plan of this is the best way to execute. No, we need to get information from other communities. We're not cocky and arrogant to the point where we feel that we have the answer already for everybody. We don't even understand completely what everybody else is going through. So we have to welcome that information. We have to welcome those solutions that other people are suggesting, and to have a certain level of trust and respect that I mentioned before, to where we can feel comfortable working together to enhance a particular group with the overall understanding that it has to be beneficial for the overall big group of Americans. All right, so let y'all sit with those things. Those are some of the things that we think that some of the qualities that America needs in a president. And then I decided to jot down, some of the top 4 or 5 issues that come up in discussions, when we're trying to figure out who's going to be the best candidate, who's going to be the best president, who's going to have the best team, who's going to be able to solve the issues the best, who's going to put us in the best finance, all these different questions that are asked. We're just going to answer them. So give me a sec. Shout out that's a New Orleans tea company, Nola Tea. Nola Tea. I get the name for y'all. But they make some good teas. All right, so presidential topics that come up, life topics, right? It's not just about the presidential topics, but these are just questions that come up with American citizens in our day-to-day life, and we want to know exactly how our presidents or potential presidents feel about them. So we'll start first with just the economy. It's going to be very short and sweet, very short and sweet. All of these, for the most part, but for the economy, we're going to take a good look at what's going on right now. A good look at why we are so in debt. Good look at why the inflation has grown to what it has grown to, um, and we're going to focus on two different areas. Stop scaring people. Stop scaring people. We understand that 2020, we had certain uh, virus come into play, and that we had to address that. It was pretty much something new for everybody. It was something new that Trump had to deal with that couldn't, or maybe could have, however you feel, wasn't expected. And then when Biden came in, I have to give him the same understanding and grace as far as it was something new. We didn't really know exactly what we were dealing with. However, the fear mongering that has to stop. People are being scared into creating some of the economic situations that we're in today. Just like people scare us for different reasons to gain our influence, we have to stop scaring people. We have to stop scaring people. Give people an understanding of how this works. Let's the majority of people talk about the economy, but I would argue that the majority of citizens have no idea what plays into the economy, what factors in, how it works, because that's just not something that most people study. Unless you have a economic degree, a degree in economics or finance or something of that area, you probably won't have a very good understanding, or unless you have a business, I should say. Scratch the degrees. Unless you have a business, because even with the degrees, doesn't give you a proper understanding until you have a business and you understand goods and sold. I mean, um, goods and just how it factors into the overall economy. Now, when I say it could be goods, it could be services, anything. When you have that understanding of how businesses overall work and how the businesses impact the overall economy, spending, all of these different things, poverty, all these different things that factor in, we need to get a better grasp, understand from other groups, and be very transparent with the public. It shouldn't just be something where, oh yeah, we're just going to tax people. We're not looking to do that. We want to make sure that as many people as possible are given the opportunity to compete in the economy, are given the opportunity to compete. Notice that I didn't say we want to make sure that we're going to control that everybody has the best life that they can have. And no, we're going to give you an opportunity to compete. Give you an opportunity to compete. That's what we want to create. A space within the economy, within business, within our country that gives our citizens the ability to compete, to be compensated fairly. And when I say fairly, a lot of that's going to come down to, what it is that you negotiate. Just is what it is. We don't get what we quote unquote deserve. We get what we negotiate. But we want to make sure that we're also addressing issues to where people who may need help get real help and not just handouts. All right. That was the second area you want to focus on, not giving handouts. Giving handouts cripples people. I'm not even going to say it cripples the economy because truth be told, giving certain people handouts may help out certain people in the economy tremendously, but that's not where we're going. We are encouraging competition. That's what we're built on. So therefore, giving handouts that cripple people, we see it all the time with young kids that are spoiled, rotten, and babied, because they're the best athlete. And what happens when they go to college? When they're with other people who are the best athletes, they're not able to compete. They've been accustomed to getting handouts so much that they don't know how to actually go out there and get it themselves. And that's what a lot of our social programs, regardless of whether the intent was good, the intent was bad, that's not what we're here to debate. However, we will get rid of a lot of these handouts because they are crippling the people that that are quote unquote supposed to be the ones benefiting from the handouts. It just is what it is. We look at results, we look at numbers. We believe in programs. If you want to help people, let's help people. Let's help people get to a point where they can compete rather than just help people and take away their competitive drive, take away their competitive nature, and take away their competitive responsibility to themselves and their family and to America overall. All right, so says short and sweet, but let's try to get to the next one. We're going to focus on immigration. Immigration, hot topic. People coming in from Ukraine, people coming in from the southern border, northern border, people trying to come from Haiti, getting turned down. We will make sure that we put our mask on first, just like the airplanes say. We will put our mask on first. We will make sure that our people, and when I say our people, Americans, we will make sure that American citizens are prioritized. It just is what it is. We have to make sure that America is prioritized first, that our American citizens, before we can go out and help others. And the best way for us to help others is to make sure that we are good at home. You know, the best way for me to ensure that I can help somebody else is to make sure that I'm good and I'm whole myself. So that way I can pour into somebody else. But I have to make sure that I'm whole first. So we'll make sure that any of these policies, these programs, we're not compromising. We're not compromising our duty to our current citizens in order to help potential citizens and immigrants that are coming in. It is what it is. And it's one of those things that will be greatly appreciated once you become a citizen. I'll give you a quick example. I work with a company that they sell shares. They sell shares in surgery centers. Now, a new provider, a new specialist, surgeon coming on who wants to buy shares, they have to go through an extensive process of proving themselves, of making sure that they would be a good team member in order to purchase shares. Now, they may be annoyed by that process, that it takes from them, just being on the outside to actually being a shareholder. However, when they become a shareholder, they will appreciate it tremendously. All right. So it may be a longer process or a different process than what people may like who are trying to get into the country. However, it's the duty that we owe to our people that are in the country, and you will benefit tremendously from it once you are a citizen or once you are welcomed into the country. And we want to make sure that it's safe for you. We want to make sure that it provides a certain level of opportunity that is beneficial for you, and because it has to be a system that works as the better this is for you, the better the country is. So that's what we're looking to do. That's what we're looking to do. And the more people that come in, more competition has us sharpening our tools and skills, operating at a higher level. So it's going to help out everybody. But that's how I feel about immigration. Put our mask on first. We'll put our mask on first. Make sure that people in this country who are suffering from a lot of the same things that people in other countries are suffering from and want to come here for those reasons. We're going to make sure that we start to take care of the people, or that we begin first things first with taking care of the people that are here first, and creating different programs that they can embrace to get them competitive, to get their juices flowing, to make sure that they can move around in society as whole citizens. So that's where I stand on that. Next issue, the LGBTQ agenda. This is something that Joe Biden came out when he was running for president and said that the LGBTQ agenda is his number one priority. Let me be very clear. The LGBTQ agenda is not my number one priority as far as promoting it, how Biden did. And I will say that he did it out of his own convenience. He was consulting with his convenience and also getting bullied. He knew that he needed another group to stand behind, to where they can highlight how this particular group's been marginalized and oppressed. So therefore, we can align that with the Blacks and all the other groups that we use fear-mongering tactics to say like, okay, you're being marginalized and oppressed. It's not fair. It's not right. Let us stand up for you. Just give us your support. This ain't that. This ain't that. Uh, we will not be bullied into accepting your agenda. And I'm talking to the LGBTQ community, as well as the actual group. So I'm talking to the community. Although I separate the LGBTQ community, the people that happen to be lesbian, gay, and so on, uh, I separate that from the actual agenda, but I will be transparent with both. And the community members, of course, we want to make sure that you have all the rights as an American citizen that any other of our American citizens would have. I want to be very clear on that. We will fight for you not to be mistreated, just like we'll fight for any other citizen to not be mistreated. If you had all the rights that our Constitution says that American citizens should have. However, as I said again, we will not be bullied into accepting whatever agenda you want to push our way. We will not be getting bullied into allowing you to bully other businesses, to promote your agendas on children. That is something that will not be tolerated. It's something that will be addressed very directly. All right, I want to be very clear. We want you to live your life, enjoy your life, love the life that you live. Of course, support you in doing any of those. However, you can't mess with the babies, can't mess with our kids, can't promote that on our kids, and also can't villainize people for not agreeing or supporting how you live your lifestyle, how you live your life and your lifestyle. It's just something that we will not tolerate. We will not tolerate it. And that goes for any other groups as well. We will not be bullied. We have foundational principles and values. We will fight for any of our citizens to make sure that they have the rights that they deserve, to make sure that they can have this pursuit of happiness. But we will not allow that to bully us into, just to get your support or for any other reason, to bully us into compromising our morals and our principles. So that is what it is on that. But once again, we want you to live your version of the American dream, just like we want everybody to live their version of the American dream. But it has to align with our principles, our foundational values, and our morals. Very straightforward. And I'll be working with different members of that community who I look forward to having those direct conversations with and figuring out certain solutions to where people can get on how can I say, a more not contentious, like kind of ease the tension and what the relationships have gotten to where they are extremely divisive. But we're searching for understanding, but I need to be very clear. There's certain things that just will not be allowed and that we will not be bullied into. So that's the LGBTQ issue. Guns, something that always comes up. Look, we don't need the fully automatic big boys. We don't need them. We're not using them for hunting. Like let's be realistic. Like I said, things have gotten so radical with both sides. Then it's just the people in the middle, and it's just like, yo, can we just figure out a way to do what makes sense? So let's figure out a way to get rid of, like, we don't need the fully automatic big boys. Let's figure out a way. Let's look into that, what that would look like. Let's look into what exactly that would look like. Let's look into, the other laws that may be brought up or that people are challenging. I'm a firm believer in that everybody, as long as you're in good standing and you can legally purchase a firearm, then you should be able to legally purchase a firearm. And I'll even take it a step further by saying that I encourage you to buy a firearm, and that we can get rid of how we see guns, and what do I mean by that? Guns are seen as just guns are the issue. Well, in the, I forget the movie that I'm referring to, but great quote. Was it? Hold on. Was it above the rim or was it paid in full? I'm not sure, but pretty much the comment was, "Guns don't kill people," or was it Friday? Guns don't kill people. Stupid mother with guns kill people. All right. Now, I'm not just going to say stupid, uh, limited to just that, but that is true. Stupid people with guns do decide to make stupid decisions and kill people. However, there's a huge mental health component to that that we will have to address, and not address it in the way that mental health has been addressed, which is, the same way that we tend to address healthcare. I'm in healthcare, so this is something I could definitely speak on. Uh, Healthcare is not to make people healthy; it's to make companies and businesses that provide healthcare products wealthy. All right, let me say that again. Healthcare is not designed to make people healthier. It's designed to make the people that provide healthcare products richer and wealthier. Let me make sure my charge is plugged in. All right. So we're going to make it make sense. We're going to make it make sense. We're going to sit down with leaders from the NRA, sit down with, leaders who oppose, and let's figure out a way to make this make sense. Let's figure out a way to make this make sense. All right. Let's make guns, like I said, give it a different perspective on it, to where we are encouraging gun safety, where we're learning how to use guns at younger ages. A lot of friends of mine, they take their kids to the gun range, so they develop a certain level of respect for guns, to where they don't play around with guns, they don't trivialize guns. So all these different areas, that's what we need to do. We need to have a better understanding, everybody, on guns. So therefore, with everybody having a better understanding and appreciation and respect for the actual weapon and what it can do, then we can move forward in making some rational decisions as far as how we can continue to make America the safest place and protected place that we all want it to be. The last one that I'm going to talk about is culture. We have a cultural issue in America, a cultural issue, and then a bunch of other subcultural issues that I'll say. Now, y'all have heard me a lot talk about issues within the Black community. I'm a Black man. Those issues are very important to me. However, what I want to focus on right now is not just limiting it to issues within a particular community, but discussing the overall impact that American culture has on all of our citizens. Uh, there's a lot of hatred out here, a lot of divisiveness, um, and a lot of selfish ways of thinking. That's what I think about when I think of America. A bunch of individuals not operating like a team. So it's my job, not only now, to let you all know, I would say convince you, influence you, but to let you know. Just need to let you know exactly how I feel about things and how I will move um, as a presidential candidate, and then as your president in 2024, along with our overall OG team. It's my job to improve the camaraderie among U.S. citizens. All right. So, how do you improve the camaraderie of a team? You have to get everybody to buy in to the overall team goals more so than individual goals. And to do that, knowing that people are selfish, it still has to be from a selfish standpoint, but you gotta massage it a little bit. So, what do I mean by that? Everybody on the team needs to understand the incentivization, how they're being incentivized. And let me rephrase that. Everybody on the team needs to see where they benefit personally as the overall team does well. So the team members need to understand how they benefit individually and personally in their lives from the overall team doing good. And then once that happens, the individuals, team members will buy in to the overall team approach and will develop a team pride a sense of team pride. You get what I'm saying? That goes above and beyond their individual wants and needs, because they understand that, oh, as the team does better, more people get scholarships, more people get awards, more people get paid, and relating it to sports. So once we understand that, it's my job to now say, okay, how do we improve the camaraderie? How do we get a certain level of buy-in from everybody? And how do we show people exactly how they benefit personally within their sector, within their smaller community, as the overall community gets better? Not to throw smoke at you, not to throw false promises at you, or promises, I should say, with bad intent that are never. There's no intent to actually follow through on the promises, which we've seen and continue to see. Um, but it's to actually talk to the different people. How can we talk to you? How can we? What do you need as a team member? What do you need as a player on this overall team? Like, what do you personally need? And let's figure out how we can connect that to the overall team success. And if there's something that we can implement in the overall team game plan that doesn't compromise the team and us getting to a position to where we can be successful, however, it still may enhance, what you're doing and what you're bringing to the team. So what we may be able to do is provide certain opportunities that allow you to flourish within your particular role, as long as the overall understanding is the greater good of the team. And that's the overall buy-in. So we just work with different people, figure out what roles would be best to get them the desired outcomes that they're looking for, and how we can implement that to be a part and to fit seamlessly with the overall team is doing and our overall team game plan and approach. So just with that covered, some of the most popular topics: the economy, immigration, LGBTQ, guns, and the overall culture. And this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. And of course, I'm open to the fact that this may be wrong. There may be something better. And that goes back to what I said, what we need in a president, what we need in people overall. People to not necessarily just think that it's their way or the highway, and that's the only way, the best way. It's just not reality. All right. We want to work with diverse people. Our biggest benefit, our biggest advantage is that we are such a diverse country, and that breeds a lot of competition, positive competition. It breeds a lot of different cultures in which we're able to take certain things from different communities to enhance the overall country. So that's what we look forward to doing. And that's what we will do, as with your support, as the presidential team that will be elected in 2024. So with that, I'm sure y'all got to get to it. A lot of things on our agenda as well. And we'll let you go. As we always say, strength and honor, onward and upward. Let's get to the bag with integrity, of course. I'll see y'all soon. Ew.